Jimmy amaiga dawa don'a. Halei tikali na iga tizalaga. Iga I awa deni dola. Sudal zudet hidigo hida. Taliga ni woni iska awa tasai. Halei no gadu si awa leni dola iga. Halesko koji na dega iga. My name is Jimmy Carey. I am 3132nd Cherokee. For the first 6 years of my life, I grew up in the Cherokee language, knowing only the Cherokee language. And I grew up in the community of Halbert, Oklahoma. I grew up in Ely, Oklahoma, which used to be on the map for a long time in my growing up. Isn't there no more because of the changing of the times, I guess. It's just the spring is still there, where everybody came and watered their cattle. Of course, not everybody had as much land and cattle like they have anymore. They only had 5, 6, 7 head. And they would drive them to this place to water them. I hear that the foundations for the old post office is still there north of the spring. But like I said, Ely was on the Oklahoma map for years and years as I grew up. But here lately they've taken it off. I was born to Madison Carey, Hester Henson Carey. Running in the woods, climbing trees, knocking trees over so that we could all hang on it. Of course, we just didn't run, we hunted. Because our main meals was like squirrel and rabbit. In the summertime, when we went to the creek, we fished and swam, you know, but we kept the fish in the water so we could take them home. We noodled with our hands. What we had to do was, you can't just grab a fish just like you can anything else. You've got to slowly squeeze them or catch them in behind the gills and so where they can't get away. Catfish you really have to be careful of because they can horn you and really hurt. We ate a lot of crawdads. When the crawdad would up and fly, you just reach out and grab him, just like a grounder coming at me. That's how I excelled in baseball. Because I knew how to catch a ball, I knew how to catch crawdad. We had bean flips, homemade out of forks, you know, and the red inner tubes that we would find that somebody had thrown away at the service stations in Halbert. We gathered that and we kept it from getting rotten. So this is what our bean flip was made of, that red inner tube. The red ones were a whole lot better. And we got to where we could knock a squirrel out of a tree. Maybe enough of us out there we could knock a rabbit out running. Kick the can was another thing that we really did like, and this was almost at dusk. Dodgeball, which we didn't have a rubber ball, but when we did, we really uptown, you know, because we had what the game was really about back then. Otherwise, we had a little sock maybe and had it full of just as tight as we could, and it was sewn up. I grew up among 15 or so first generation relatives, mostly boys, and we ran around in the country when there wasn't work to be done. Sometimes we were called in the springtime out of the cornfield to eat breakfast, meaning we were probably out there a little bit before dusk where we could just see the weeds and stuff, you know, it's still dark, and go eat breakfast. And then right afterwards, head right back out there again until the heat of the day. The big thing was to load up in a wagon, horse-drawn wagon. We didn't have trucks or automobiles or anything like that. Go to Clear Creek or 14 Mile Creek. Clear Creek was a lot colder, so most of the time we got to go there because we had to haul our drinking water. We all drank out of one dipper, you know, and that was a family thing from Grandpa on down. Back then, a nickel was a nickel, and lots of things you could buy. Large candy bars, gum, chips, ice cream, pop. I can remember one summer, pop got bumped up 1 penny, 6 cents. And I thought, wow, this world's going to end. How am I going to come up with 6 cents, one more penny than what I just... But we rode up and down the streets of Halbert, picked up empty pop bottles, and they were worth a penny apiece. So that's how we obtained the money for pop and candy. It wasn't given to us, we went out and earned it. My grandpa, Richard Henson, was a medicine man. As I see myself today, where I come from, I may be one of the last generations to be born in the Cherokee language and abide in a home where the elder is a medicine man. When it came time to take Grandpa, he would go after some things. I never asked him what this was for and for how come. They had some phenomenal medicines. I'm going to tell you one. Liking to swim as I did, and once we lived in town with other relatives, we would go down to the creek just north of Halbert. One summer, I got water in my right ear. I tried diving in, pumping it, bumping my head, everything I knew to get it out, and I couldn't. Mom asked him if he could take the water out of my ear. Without hesitation, sure, Eliwada. He walked back into the house and come out with carrying a little white cup, and I knew it had water in it. He sat down, he stood me up and put my head on his lap, my right ear up, and I can hear him talking in Cherokee, but I can't make out what he's saying. It's muffled. What he said, he repeated 4 times. And then he took a small amount of water out of the cup that he had in his hand. First breath, he blew that water that was in his mouth in my ear, followed by 3 more. And he did that 4 times. When he got through with my right ear, I thought he was done. I was going to break away from him. He grabbed me again. He said, no, we're not done. So he put my right ear down, my left ear up. And I can remember thinking, I'm sure you're helping me, but I have no water in that ear, and I know you're going to blow water in it. And sure enough, he did. He repeated what he did 4 times. And Grandpa put my right ear down in Mom's lap. I'm sitting there in that position for a while, and that old man knew when to put his hand upon my left side, mashed down a little bit, and in Cherokee said, "To nitsadanesti, nika dawaganagoi." He said in translation, he said, "Be real still and let all of that come out." And I thought, you silly old man, there ain't nothing coming out of my ear. And as soon as I thought that ear, I could feel the warm trickling coming out of my ear. She said, I don't think I'm gonna let him go swimming as many times as he has been. He lives on the creek at Holman. He thinks he's a fish. He likes to go under. And I can remember Grandpa saying, no, Hester, which is my mom's name. Let him go swimming as many times as he wants to. Stay under as long as he wants to. And he said, Hester, he'll never get water in his ear again as long as he lives. We were fed, we were clothed, and most of all, we were loved. I can't remember ever having a day that we weren't happy. We as a people really need to get back to speaking Cherokee one to another for our children to hear so that they can carry it on.